Hey, so today's topic is higher education. How do we deal with the looming student debt crisis, and how do we prevent another generation from incurring another, mountain of debt? Frankly, the solutions are rather straightforward. We need to focus on reducing the administrative bloat that has ballooned over the last several decades, and we need to focus on reducing the overall demand on our colleges and universities. Right now, the demand is artificially high due to a lot of federal programs, and as a result, a lot of people are going to college or being pushed into college who don't necessarily need to be there, and it's not benefiting them to actually be, pushed into that financial obligation. So, what do we do? How do we address those points? Well, the administrative bloat, while some people might think that it's coming from, the big salaries of all the university bigwigs, it's actually coming from the programs and studies and things that the universities participate in. There's a lot of federal and state guidelines, regulations, and compliance things that the universities have to essentially push paperwork from department to department and then, make sure it's filed appropriately with the appropriate agencies. So that's where a lot of the administrative bloat is coming from in our universities today. It would be really smart for us to take a look at what compliance standards we have for these universities and find ways of reducing that administrative bloat and overall regulation. In terms of dealing with the overall demand issues that we have on our colleges and universities today. Right now, and when I was a kid and for the last several decades, the main push, the main goal of K through 12 education has been to push kids into college. And at a sacrifice to a lot of the blue-collar careers out there like plumbers and electricians, a lot of good careers, high-paying careers, rewarding careers that have gone overlooked or have had this air about them that they are, not as high in prestige as, say, a college degree, and that has inflated the demand for our colleges and universities. What we need to focus on is dialing back the controls of the Department of Education so that we're not constantly pushing knowledge acquisition and so that high schools and middle schools can open up to career exploration and start giving students more freedom of choice in the classroom so that they can discover what they want to do at an earlier age, so when they graduate high school, they can appropriately, decide where they're going to, go next. So maybe they want to go take an apprenticeship, maybe they want to be an internship at Google, or maybe they actually do want to go to college. But what we need to be focused on is making sure that students have the skills necessary to make those decisions when the time comes. Right now, that's not what we're focused on, and that has to do with No Child Left Behind and Common Core and all the other things that have come after, where the federal government's trying to direct K through 12 education to meet their own end. The other thing we need to focus on is slowly rolling back and then eventually eliminating the federal student loan program. This program has essentially allowed the cost to balloon out of control in terms of tuition for our students. Because there's no downward pressure on the price and demand continues to go up, universities have to expand, and the only way to do that is to build more buildings, add more administration for all the extra paperwork, and so on and so forth. And the cost is getting out of control. But if we start to roll back on that program and start cutting off the top percentage, every so often until we can get it down to just the bare bones of the people who really absolutely need it, we can start to draw down the demand on the universities, make sure people are going into the proper career paths, things that better suit them, and bring that cost of a college education back down to a point where you can work a summer job and a part-time job during the school year and pay for your tuition. That's what we need to focus on. I want to make college affordable for anyone who wants to go so they don't have to incur debt in order to go to college. I don't want to expand how many people can take loans or expand the amount of money they can take in those loans, because that's just adding to the problem. It's increasing the demand, and it's keeping the universities from having any downward pressure on their prices. But if we can roll that program back to where it's no longer in existence, that demand drops, price drops. Now everybody can actually afford to just pay it up front. That's how it should be. And honestly, I mean, that's the best thing for our country. I think a college education is something that you should be able to work for and work towards, and not necessarily take on a lifetime worth of debt, to achieve. So I hope that kind of answers the question. I know a lot of you asked how we could, deal with this issue. If you like this video, I would really appreciate the likes and shares. Again, we are a 100% grassroots campaign. We are accepting no political action committee money. Donations are capped at $100. So every single like and every single share helps out tremendously. So until next time, I'll see you later.